Now we're going to look at submitting a pipeline job. This video will be a little bit longer because we'll go through some more things. Okay, how do I submit a pipeline job? When entering the Nibbler server, you will land at this place. We can test this by using pwd, present working directory, and we see it's the same, right? So we need to go to this location. We're going to cd temporary projects pipeline libs pipeline code. Code. I use the tab. The tab works by it completes the word that I'm typing. If I give enough letters for the next step and click tab, it will automatically finish the rest of the word for you. It only does this if there's no alternatives given the letters you've already typed. Okay, code. We're there. Let's verify this. Okay, cool. So use ls to list all the things in this directory. Now here we see quite some files, but there are three most important ones. These are the config Linux, the main, over here, and the slurm. A lot of these other things are very important too, but not as important for you to know. Okay, let's take a look at what's in this config Linux file. I'll type more. Okay, over here we can see it over here as well. So if you understand this, then basically there's not that much to it. Basically, it tells us where we are right now. That's the code, the server directory. This is where the assembled output from the pipeline will be saved. A log suffix. This is not that important now, but at some point we would like to split the workload of the pipeline, and then we will have to change this number. But at the time, it's fine. Subsample set to true. Well, this means that we want to subsample our audio. And if it's set to true, it will set the new audio file to the range given in sample window. So if we have, let's say, a audio file that's 5 minutes long, if we set this to true and we give it these values, then it will be cut to an audio file that starts at the first second, or well, basically the 0 second, and end at exactly the end of 4 minutes, right? Because we don't really know how long every audio file is, right? If you just want to refer to the end of the audio file, you use -1 instead of this 240. So you can change this if you want to analyze the first, like starting from the 12th second to the 34th second, it would be 1234. Input directory, that's the location where all our audio files are saved. Output directory, this is where, as we can see here, the location of the data frames for each individual audio. So basically a mirror of the input directory, but then instead of with audio files in it, it will have probably a CSV file with one row containing a lot of feature values. And the feature saved path, this is basically where all the data is assembled into one big CSV file. So whereas in this part, there's for every audio file one row, this is assembling them and putting them into one big file. Running the processes, this tells us which processes the pipeline is going to run or check for. And over here, we need to choose which Whisper version we want to use. So in this case, we're using Whisper X. And as you see in this configuration, we will not run Redcap with our pipeline. This overwriting means that if our pipeline is running, it will check for a given audio file whether the OpenSMILE data has already been calculated. If it sees that it's been calculated, it will skip over it. However, if we set this to true, it will not skip over it. It will calculate it again and overwrite the original OpenSMILE data. That works the same for all of these. And then these last two ones, they are not relevant to us. Just don't think about it, don't touch them, then it will be good. Is that? Okay, stop it. So that's basically what I told here as well. No need to worry about it anymore. And we'll head to main.py. Well, this is a way bigger file, and I dare say you don't really need to know a lot about this. It's basically, it just tells the script, the pipeline, how to do specific processes. So for example, here it imports some of the processes to be used in the script. We go down a little bit. If in the configuration file at processes, we either set true or false, then we run protogram, right? And this is basically all of this is sort of this logic where it tells the program what to do. So not really any need to look in this further. And then one last interesting file, slurm.pbs. This is, as I described before, where we tell our program what to use, the nibbler what to use. So we have a job name, that's pipeline. So when we submit a job, it will have the name pipeline. Our output will be called pipeline out. Any error messages will be at the pipeline error. This is how long we think it will take maximally. If it even goes 1 second over this value, the nibbler will shut down your job. So this number, the first time you use any program, is sort of a guess. It's better to be safe and put this very big. And then once you've run a program a couple of times, you can sort of narrow down each time. CPUs, how many CPUs, how much memory, how many nodes, and that's the rest of it. Here we load some modules for our job, and over here we call Python. Then we tell it where to look. It's the main.py, and we give it the configuration Linux initiation file. Okay. So these are the 3 big files that we need to start our progress, right? Start the pipeline. There's 2 more things we need to do now. As we saw in the, I'll just type it again. Configuration file, we have an output file. There's a feature save path, there's a CSV file. This will assemble all the information from all audio files. However, in this output CSV file, it doesn't check whether for a certain given person there's already data. That's to say, if I run the pipeline, it makes a huge CSV file where all the information for all participants and all their features is assembled. If I then accidentally run the pipeline again, it will add all this information to the same CSV file. That means that you will have duplicate information. So in order to prevent duplicate information, you'll have to delete the CSV file. Okay. In order to do that, we'll go to where the CSV file is saved. So that's over here, server directory. That's it's the same thing over here, right? That's how we know where to go. Let's change to the drop zone. Okay, here we see the output CSV from the test. As you can see here, that's the name that's been given as well, right? So in this file, we assemble all the information from all the participants. In this specific example, I will not delete it because the pipeline is still running. But here is where we will be able to eventually find the output of this specific run. Okay, one last thing. This is a sort of addendum video. If you remove the CSV file, you do it with this command, wherein, of course, you change this name to the name of your CSV file. You could change it in the configuration file over here, and then you'd end up with a different file name over here. So make sure they match when using this command. Okay, and then once you've done it, you should use ls to list the content of that folder and check if it actually got removed. And if it didn't, maybe you misspelled something.